This is the book of Psalm, chapter 18, and verse 6. In my distress, I called upon the Lord Yahweh, and I cried unto my power. He heard my voice out of his temple, and my cry came before him, even into his ears. Psalms chapter 18, and verse 6. Shalom. We want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Chakodash. Double honors to our venerable apostles and elders at Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and blessings to the Lord's elect, the house of David. All right, so Brother Aaron coming back at you with another lesson. Lord willing to be edifying and uplifting unto the elect. All right, and I'm going to title this, The Move Has Begun. Okay, the move has begun. All right, and that title might change. All right, going through the spirit, but I'm going to go with the move has begun. And then what move am I talking about? All right, today is April 4th, I think. Yep, April 4th, 2023. All right, the year where all the hopeful prophecies come to pass. Okay, and the last major prophecy that we, the hopeful elect, are sitting around and waiting for, okay, or I should say waiting eagerly for, is the fulfillment, all right, of the mark of the beast. Okay, now yesterday, a brother had posted, a link, and I believe the elder apostle Tahar also, had posted something regarding it. All right, if not the same thing, all right, about this little baby that was being fingerprinted. All right, it's a mandatory digital fingerprinting out there in China. Okay, and it's funny because I believe back in 2022, last year. All right, they were saying that China was going to be introducing digital ID cards nationwide. Okay, and I believe brothers did videos on that. We all did, some type of lesson on it. Okay, but now it's pretty much what we're in 2023, right? And this was that March of 2022 is when that information came out. So nicely over a year ago. Okay, and now we're seeing them shift into a different realm of possibility in terms of prophecy. Okay, now over here in Babylon, all right, we understand that pretty much the people who are running and pushing the agenda, that's the same agenda you're seeing in China, all right, are the same ones who are telling the world, okay, that the model, the Chinese model, okay, is a very attractive model. In other words, what's happening in China is very successful. We will be adopting that throughout the whole entire world. Okay, what do I mean by that? Okay, let's get into it. All right, I'm gonna read something real quick. All right, and then show you what I'm talking about. Okay, this is it says here, your United Nations headquarters consumer, or United Nations headquarters consumer enforcement division, and this is more like a mock, a mock draft. Okay, supposed to be some type of science fiction, kind of like writing, but in reality, all right, it is biblical prophecy. All right, let's read. Dear consumer, our biometric detection division has confirmed that you participated in the protests at last month's coronation of, you can put whatever president you want in there, all right, as Supreme Leader of the United States for life. Your case was reviewed by your enforcement personnel, and you were found guilty of unlawful dissent. As a result, all of your financial accounts have been closed, your carbon credit allowance has been frozen, and your consumer participation chip has been deactivated. You have been downgraded from consumer to laborer. As such, you may proceed to the nearest Federal Emergency Management Agency labor camp to receive your work assignment. You will be provided a space in the dormitory and 3 meal credits per day. All hail the United Nations. Well, in this case, Klaus Schwab and them. All right. So, this is a so-called mockery, or a mock draft, if you will. All right. But this is exactly what's going to be happening very soon. Okay, because it's taken real life events All right. And basically how they're getting these type of real life events. Well, they're reading the articles and looking at these new policies that these so-called banking corporations are coming down with. And this is the end result, okay, of if all these policies are instituted, this will be the end result. There'll be no more freedom for regular people. All right. And everything is going to be centralized. All right. To the point where the prophecy in the book of Revelation, the 13th chapter, will come out and play as it was written, or as is written. Okay. Because that's what this is designed to do. This is designed, okay, to deny anyone access who does not take that MOTB, period. Okay. And that has already started in this month, April. They said by July of 2023, this will be the standard. Okay. The central bank digital currency will be the standard. And at that point, it's over. What do I mean by that? Let's read. It says, Federal Reserve head is questioned on controversial debanking of disfavored individuals. Okay. It says, if you're tired of censorship, cancel culture, and the erosion of privacy and civil liberties, then be ready for this. During a recent House committee hearing, Chair of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, was grilled on, quote, Operation Choke Point 2.0, end quote, an alleged Biden administration effort that Representative Warren Davidson, Republican of Ohio, described as being, quote, particularly focused on debanking people that are disfavored by the current executive branch. Representative Warren Davidson told Powell that he had spoken with multiple bankers who said, quote, they've never seen a higher degree of regulatory burden, steering guidance, shaping activities in the market from regulators, end quote. Let's read. Is this what John the Revelator saw? You're damn right it is. Man, these people, man, jeez. All right, let's go into the book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 16. It says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Now, every single time we go into this, all right, we make it clear, all right, what every single word in this very verse means. Okay, now the very stage that we're in now in prophecy is the causeth. Now, when you go into that word causeth, okay, or in this case causeth all, you got the Greek word poeo, okay, which the word poeo means to fashion or to construct. All right, so when you see these banks that are all of a sudden collapsing, and then you conveniently have the FDIC and the feds who are telling you, all right, that they're going to keep hiking interest rates, and, you know, the FDIC will come in and bail some of these banks out, you know, and that, oh, everything is fine, just keep on going, but just understand that things are going to get much worse. You should understand that it's not coincidental why things that are happening now are going to continue to happen, because they're telling you that they're the ones who are behind it, and they're telling you that this is what we're going to do. All right. And even people who are above them have said that basically get ready, because there's a transition happening. All right. We're going from physical money system to a digital fully centralized system, where if people don't get along and be on board with the system's demands, they will be basically shut out. OK, that is exactly what John the Revelator saw. All right. So the causeth, the poeo, is what we're seeing now. The infrastructure changing, the technology changing, the people getting boxed in and fenced in. Okay, with all these new regulations and policies that are set around the world. Okay, and we're seeing a time of uncomfortability building up. That is all part of the causeth. All right, the word all right, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark. That all word in the Greek, it goes to a word pas, which means individually and ultimately collectively. Okay, now how do you know, cause everyone individually and ultimately collectively? Says by identifying them. It's called ID. Okay, individual ID. Okay, your identity, all right, will have to be you know, your identity has to be proven through this AI system, And that's how you're going to gain any form of recognition in the system, have a profile in the system. And if you act up, it could just turn your system off. See? But mind you, everyone's going to be chipped. It's the mindset. Yep. That's the mindset. Okay, so let's keep going. It says he attributed this heightened scrutiny to Operation Choke Point 2.0, a reference to an alleged extension of Operation Choke Point 1.0. It says the first Operation Choke Point was an Obama-era debanking effort that began in 2013 and attempted to prevent gun dealers, payday lenders, and other companies that were deemed to be, quote, high risk from accessing banking services. Some people in the cryptocurrency industry claim that Operation Choke Point 2.0 is now being carried out by the Biden administration and is primarily focused on deterring banks from doing business with cryptocurrency firms. Quote, when people really feel like some third party is going to steer or shape their money, cause if, they don't trust it. So that means they got to do something to have the people to receive, right, the mark of the beast. To receive, meaning to grant permission so they can, gain access to the buying and selling aspect of life. Right? Davidson added, it says, I mean, the unbanked and the underbanked, fundamentally, that's lack of trust. It says that's lack of trust is part of why they don't use our banking system today. In fact, that's part of the appeal of the digital asset space, the permissionless nature of it, right? So they can just do whatever they want with your money, all right, and there's nothing you can do about it because you're not the one who's controlling it, okay? It's all BS, all right? It's all BS, and it goes against every, all right, commandment of the Heavenly Father, all right, when it comes to working and money and so on and so forth. It says, Davidson continued by suggesting that lots of people working in the financial services space, quote, feel threatened by the prospect of change, end quote, and are attempting to restrict access to services such as cryptocurrency. They've maybe reluctantly concluded that you can't ban crypto. Davidson said they at least want to keep it account based so some third party can actually control the assets, which is a polite way of saying, quote, we don't actually trust our citizens to control their money on or their assets. We'll let somebody else do it for them because we can control those third parties. Okay, Davidson. So it's all about control, like Aaron Russo said in his interview with Alex Skull and Bones Jones. Okay, so everything is all coming together. All right, it's happening day by day, and it's coming together beautifully. All right, Davidson then pressed Powell on whether financial regulators use their powers to control third parties. Quote, if you don't comply with the regulatory regime, you don't get to operate a financial service business, right? Davidson asked Powell. That's right, Powell confirmed. You hear that? Let's read that again. If you don't comply with the regulatory regime, right, you don't get to operate a financial service business, right? Davidson asked Powell. That's right, Powell confirmed. You hear that? So let's go back into the book of Revelation and see what John the Revelator saw once again. He said, Revelation chapter 13, verse 16. So again, the system has changed. You're entering into the world of the beast system. And in order to operate in the beast system, which is this new central digital banking system, right, you have to be digitally mapped into the system. You have to get a mark of the beast. Okay, and to dwell in the system of the beast, you need to be marked by the beast. Revelation 13, verse 16, he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive. Okay, there's a setup going on that will end with people having no choice but to take something in order to what? To receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. That's the condition. That's the new policy. Right? And that no man might buy or sell. So a banking system being overhauled, being changed. And what did he say? Davidson said, if you don't comply with the regulatory regime, If you don't do what they tell you to do, you don't get to operate a financial service business, right? So that means you're banking, trade, anything, meaning buying and selling, right? Verse 17, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Anyone who does not go along with the new regulatory change, right, or financial regulatory change regime, right, cannot and will not be allowed to operate any financial businesses. Meaning what? You cannot buy and sell, period. Except for those who take the MOTB. So this is designed to push people into that point. See? It says Davidson followed up by quizzing Powell on his recent remarks about digital assets posing a systemic risk to the financial system. Powell defended the comments by insisting that, quote, we don't want regulations to oppose innovation and thus entrench incumbents. What the fuck does that even mean? That's what they always do. They always use this art of double speaking, okay? Spanglish, just double talk. You know, it's all designed to cause confusion on the average person. This is straight jargon, man. We don't want regulation to oppose innovation and thus entrench incumbents. The fuck? But arguing that, quote, permissionless blockchains have been vehicles for fraud. Who's the biggest fraudulent people on this planet Earth? The same people who are creating a system talking about we're doing this so we can avoid fraud. It's them. Okay? It's a fraudulent activity or a fraudulent thought to say, let's create a system that locks people out if they don't listen to what we got to say. That's fraud. Okay? Done by what? Deception, coercion, all right? Witchcraft, okay? Propaganda. It's never on an honest basis. Everything they're saying and doing is not on an honest basis because the end goal is what? Complete control of the people and the system itself, period. Davidson pushed back by noting that the Federal Reserve's own report on fraud claimed that blockchain-based fraud was 0.24%, a stat that Davidson said represents a fraction of what it is with the US dollar. You hear that? So, again, their hypocrisy, they can't even defend it. They bring out all these numbers and it's like, okay, but this new system you're creating will be worse than what we have now. But yet you're saying you're doing it for the best interest of the people. How does that even correlate? It says David's questioning of Powell follows several examples of the financial system being weaponized against people under the Biden regime. Some card companies have started surveilling their customers, and the Biden administration is working on a digital dollar that has been described as authoritarian by critics. Powell himself has confirmed that unlike cash, the digital dollar will not be anonymous. See, that means it's going to be tracked, it's going to be watched, they know exactly who's doing what, and so on and so forth. And in order for you to do these, you know what's, buying and selling, you have to take that MOTB, receive that mark. Okay? So for those who are saying, oh, it's the Vanessa, no, listen. The next step will show you everything you need to know about what the MOTB really is. Because once the CBDC system is set up and you're using all this, oh, I'm doing my banking transactions through my mobile phone and this and that. Well, the system is about to collapse anyway. And the new way of doing things will be, like I said, and like we've all said, through digital forms, digital means, okay? The internet of bodies and the internet of things. Everything will be digitalized, nothing will be anonymous. If you want to partake in anything in this system, you have to be on the grid, okay? And you must have the system within your body some way, somehow. And very soon they'll make it illegal to be off grid. You want to be, you know, oh, I don't have a home because I didn't take the MOTB. Well, we can't sit outside and just linger here. No, you can't do that. You got to keep the streets safe. So we're going to take you and put you in a nice little, you know, labor camp, and you can spend the rest of your life there, right? Until you make up your mind on what you want to do with us here, okay? But this is where we at, okay? Verse 18, Revelation chapter 13, verse 18 says, here is wisdom, that him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Okay, so this is the stage that we're in right now. Okay, and for those who can't see it, man, it's gonna hit you like a ton of bricks. Okay, but for those of us who see it, we know that we're really, really close to the end. Okay, and it just takes just a little bit more to go. That's the hour of temptation, and Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is always going to make a way for us. Okay, there's a book of Romans chapter 13 and verse 11. It says, and that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. All right, so let's keep it 100. All right, because we're not that close to the end. I mean, Salakia, we're not that far off. All right, and we're actually very, very close to the end, I should say. Okay, all these events that's going on around the world is escalating. It's picking up. But just because they don't report it and people are not hearing it, there's no sense of urgency, especially here in America. Okay, people are in such a confused state that they don't know how to turn the switch on to get serious. And we're in the most serious time, but just that they just don't see it. You're surrounded by jokes. You're surrounded by memes. You're surrounded by TikTok videos. Okay, everything is a joke. Everything is either a bitch twerking or a grown-ass man dancing in the middle of the street over a stupid-ass video. Nobody's serious-minded. And that's why these things are going to hit them like a ton of bricks, and they're not going to expect it. Okay? They're not going to expect it. All right? And misery and great distress will fall upon the inhabitants of Babylon the Great, and the suffering. Anyway, I'm going to leave it off there, Lord, and be edified. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Ruach HaKodesh, the water Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. And until next time, Shalom.